Hi everyone, I'm David Cohen.
Hi, I'm Joanna Colosimo.
And we are going to talk to you today about the National Industry Liaison Group conference that was just held in Anaheim. It was a really good conference, lots of good information. And interestingly enough, right before the conference, I think the Friday before the conference, the director of OFCCP, Andre Harris, resigned after only 8 months in the position. I think a lot of folks were surprised that he left that early, but he resigned right before the conference, and Craig Lean was named the interim director. Craig was serving as the senior advisor to OFCCP, and now he's filling two roles: one senior advisor and deputy, and also interim director. And Craig did the opening to the conference, well received by the contractor community. And I think he found a good balance between compliance assistance and enforcement, which I think is the right tone. So what are some of the things he talked about?
Definitely. So I completely agree with Dave. Craig Lean was open and transparent, and the contractor community really welcomed his transparency. So he talked about sort of four main priorities for OFCCP in 2018: transparency of the agency, efficiency of the agency and how they conduct their audits, and also this concept of certainty, sort of this rule of law concept that contractors should know what they're being evaluated on in an OFCCP compliance evaluation, that the rule of law should be very clear. And then finally, he talked a little bit about recognition, that good contractors, best practice contractors should be recognized for their efforts, similar to how OFCCP handled the EVE Awards in the past, Dave. So the tone was really positive, it was really open. And Craig really was warmly received by the contractor community.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I think he stressed transparency. The contractor community should know how we're being evaluated. He talked a lot about compensation and how he finds it problematic that how OFCCP does compensation, how they do the groupings, is a black box.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to change. He talked about the request for information and how much information is being requested from contractors, and he was very clear. Like, agency has a job to do. We will not accept denial of access, but we OFCCP need to be reasonable, relevant in our scope. If there are indicators, we should be clear with you up front. Why are we asking for this information? Why do we need this information?
And absolutely. And so a part of one of his opening announcement takeaways was that he released sort of a bill of rights for contractors, essentially what federal contractors can expect from OFCCP. And that is actually up on OFCCP's website now. Dave, we wrote a blog about it, a written blog about it, and it's really just sort of a 2-page document that outlines information about compliance assistance materials and what you can expect from OFCCP going forward. Everything really that we just outlined about transparency and efficiency.
Yeah, I'm excited that Craig is the new interim director. I think the direction that he wants to take the agency is the right way to go. And once again, it's finding that balance between compliance assistance and enforcement. Some of the other things he talked about at the end of the conference was this idea that OFCCP is going to utilize the SAM database, the government database for contractors, because there is a requirement every year that you certify that you're doing your plans. Craig's point was he doesn't think it's fair that there are a lot of contractors that are not in compliance and never hear from OFCCP. And yet the folks that were in the room that are in compliance are getting multiple audits.
Right.
So they're going to be looking at some sort of certification, whether it's just verifying your certification or having contractors certify. But I think that's something that we'll see come out in 2019.
Absolutely. So that's a high priority for contractors. Another initiative that was discussed during the conference was the release of OFCCP is planning on releasing higher education guidance. Right now, there's some guidance and fact sheets on the desk of OFCCP's legal department, and we think it's going to contain information such as how universities should structure their plans, who to include in the plans, what to do with self-ID problems that are different nuances with iPads and EEO1. So those types of issues, which are long awaited from the higher education community. So that's exciting to hear about, and I know a lot of the universities were excited to hear that information and that guidance is going to come their way soon.
Yeah, just the last thing that I'll say, Craig talked about potentially in the future doing focused reviews So a certain portion will be 503 reviews, a certain portion will be VEVRA, a certain portion will be 11246. So focusing those reviews, also talking about increasing the number of contractors that have FAPs. And then the last thing, which is encouraging, and this came out of the GAO report, is that OFCCP compliance officers need training. That's not a surprise. And I think OFCCP will even tell you that. So they are looking to develop a very robust training program, bringing in third-party experts to help develop that training program, even having some sort of assessment for compliance officers to take to ensure that they have the competencies to do the job. So,
well, that will be very welcome news.
Absolutely. So it's a great conference, a lot of good information. Check out our blog, check out our other videos, webinars, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.